Hello guys, this is a remix of the blind spot detection system that I put on my Clarity, and also the backup sensors, the proximity sensors. So in this kit comes two sensors. These go in your left and right rear corner of your vehicle. That's the wiring harness. It comes complete with everything you need except maybe a fuse tap that you might need to put a piggyback on top of one of your fuses. This is an angle gauge. The sensors are 20 degrees angled in from the back plane of the car, and it comes with an alert sensor. Along with that are two brackets. They have 3M sticky tape on them, or you can screw them in. I recommend screwing them in, otherwise if they fall off in the heat or something, you'll have to take your rear bumper off. So all the wiring is included. It's a pretty complete kit. It comes with extended cables and LEDs. So on each, you have these indicator LEDs that light up when a car pulls into your blind spot. And if you turn on your turn signals, they will flash and the beep will beep. So you'll get a flash, flash, flash and a beep, beep, beep. So that's pretty much the kit there for the blind spot detection system. And the next kit that we're going to be looking at is the proximity sensors that goes into the back, car distance detection system. So this was an 8-channel setup. This 8-channel setup comes with 8 sensors and a little module computer box that reads the sensors. It also is painted. The sensors came, you buy them specific color to match your car, and they match the car really nice. So this LED little screen goes on your dash. It's also got the beeper built in. And it comes with all the wiring you need. And like I said, 8 sensors. Now I didn't install the front 4 sensors because I really didn't need them. But it is nice to have backup sensors. If they ever fail, you won't have to buy a complete kit because you won't be able to match them later on. You'll have 4 extra sensors that you can put in. Or if you'd like to have front and rear sensors, there are 8 channels there. And you just plug them into the module. And it also comes with a hole saw, the proper size hole saw. I got the wiring is all marked so you know what is what. Now I did a pre-test on everything so that I knew the system worked before I wasted my time putting them in the vehicle and find out that maybe I had a defective unit. So this small hole saw, some people say it doesn't cut a good hole, but in my application it did perfect. The holes came out nice and clean, they weren't wallowed out, the sensors fit really tight, and I have no complaints with that at all. So like I said, you have 4 sensors for the back, and you have 4 sensors from the front. Now how you can tell is the front sensors have very long cabling because the module goes in the back. So you have to check which sensors you got and then put them in accordingly. Excuse me. So the Honda Workshop Manual, they have a kit that they sell you. And their instruction is to poke a hole in the rear bumper so you can locate where you're going to drill the sensors. Now, it was very nice that these rear bumpers have a circular spot with a crosshatch, just like a bullseye on a scope, or like the crosshairs on a scope. So there's 4 sensor markings in this rear bumper, and they're right where I expected them. I put this piece of tape on there before I knew there was markings inside the bumper, and that's where I was going to drill. So what I did was I took some woodworking tips off of some videos where they say they start the hole saw in reverse so that it scores a hole first without the teeth, so the teeth don't dig in and gouge and jump and cause a blemish on your nice finish. So I sat there and I ran it in reverse for a little while before it started digging in without cutting in. And then I reversed the drill and went ahead and punched the holes in completely the rest of the way. So this was hole number 1, and you want to support your drill so it doesn't wobble as much as possible. And you can see that I did have a little bit of wobble, but that didn't cause any issues at all. The hole came out very clean, and there was the complete success to number 1. You can see the edges, how sharp and clean they are. I didn't have to clean them off with the razor blade or anything. They were good to go. So there is an orientation to these sensors, and make sure you put them in the right way. Follow the directions on the book. It'll tell you which way is up, so that it fans out sideways and not goes vertical up and down. So it snaps in just like that. Give it a little tug from the back side. That'll pull it into the bumper the rest of the way, and it fits nice and tight. So we have to get on with the rest of the 3 holes here. We have to get those punched out. And that went pretty well. I mean, I was very pleased with the quality of the drill. You know, there was a lot of reports that people said their drill didn't do a good job, but in my case it worked perfectly. So this was sensor number 2. Feed the wires through the bumper and then pull it through. Give it a little tug when you get it in the hole there, and pull it up tight to where the little fingers snap in from the back side. So hole number 2 was complete. Turn it, orient it, and then push it home. Give it a little pull from the back side. Make sure it clicks into place. And that is how we get the sensors. We had 2 more to go, and we will move on from here. So 2 more sensors, and the markings are on the back side of the bumper. You don't have to worry about lining them up and getting them straight or crooked. You just poke that pin or probe through the crosshairs, and you are right on center, right on target. That was a really nice touch for the clarity to have that in the rack bumper, because this type of kit is actually a factory edition. You could get not a factory edition, but an accessory you could buy from the Honda dealer, and it's nice that they did put the markings inside the bumper. So this is the last hole. It's going in now. This is the last of 4, and at this point you're almost there. So the rear bumper comes off pretty easy. You take some panels off the bottom, take the taillights out, take 2 screws out from the back of the bumper, and then inside the wheel well there's some, and underneath there's some push pins and a couple panels. You take those out. So just as before, push it in, give a little tug from the back side, and that's what that's all about. Now when you get ready to run the wiring on the back side, there is some preparation you need to do. I took this right out of the Honda playbook. They said wipe down the rear of the bumper with isopropyl alcohol, use aluminumized tape like for an air conditioner ducting, and tape your harnesses up to the bumper so that they stay secure for the life of the car. So that's what I'm doing here. Just cleaning it off with the isopropyl alcohol, and start cutting my tape. Cut it into strips. Now I also put a little piece of tape on top of each of the sensors just in case rain ran down and dripped over the top of the sensor. I wanted it to clear that sensor. I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem. These type of sensors are out in the weather all the time on all sorts of vehicles. But I just wanted that little extra precaution there, and I wanted to make sure that the sensor didn't loosen in the bumper and come unsnapped either. So you take this complete harness here and you start working your way towards the car. Now they are different lengths of wires, so make sure that you have them marked so that later on you know which is the right rear, the right center, the left rear, and the left center. And there's a shot of the 3M tape over the top of the sensors, and the shot of the wiring being secured to the back of the bumper. And it's not pretty, but that's what the factory manual says to do. All in all, is totally satisfactory. So as you see, I got my wires marked. I can tell what they are. And then we got to, so here's a shot of the radar sensors for the blind spot detection on the Bliss system. So it sits at a 20-degree angle, and there just happened to be a perfect angled piece of sheet metal on the back of this body, the perfect spot to mount these sensors and follow your directions. So it's mounted like that, and it's angled at a 20 degrees off the back plane of the vehicle. Now this sensor can pick up cars that are pulling up beside you, and it can also pick up cars that are not the lane next to you, but also the second lane next to you. If you have somebody that's coming up to overtake you, even if it's 2 lanes over, which they may decide to change lanes and come into your lane, this sensor can pick them up. Now, I still had to run this wire. It was just sitting over the top of that one sharp edge, but I ran that down just like the other side. I pulled it back out and ran it around and secured it. So here's the bumper going back on. So I had to feed those wires in through the back of the body, and I ended up securing that grommet where the wires go through, because I didn't want any rainwater or any water splashing to get inside my trunk. I want to keep a nice dry vehicle. I don't want any leaks. So take your time and do it right. Now I put tape around all the edges where the bumper goes to the body, so that when you're fitting the bumper and taking the bumper on and off, you don't scratch anything. It's just a precaution. So I set the bumper on some boxes while I'm feeding the wires in through the back of the body. And my wife was out working in the garden. She was very helpful to help me line up this bumper. So feed your wires through, and then you can get ready to set this bumper on. Now the bumper, once it sets in place, it just goes over the top of the crash bar, kind of snaps into place, and then you snap it along the side of the body, and you're ready to start putting all the fasteners together. So I'm take off the tape. Everything came out well. I'm very pleased with the installation. Even the color on the sensors was perfect. So at this point, all you have to do is put back in all the push pins, the 2 screws, the taillight lenses, and then move on to the wiring. So the wiring, which I'll be showing here in a minute, the module is mounted right here in the left rear quarter panel. There's a vertical brace there where I mounted it, right there. And that vertical brace is perfect for that module. Now I have 4 channels hooked up, and I have 4 channels that are available should I ever want to put them in the front, or if I want to save them. Now I ran the wiring right along the factory wiring. The factory harness goes right up through next to the seat. I took the rear seat out in this panel right here, and the wires run right along the bottom, right with the factory harness. Sorry about the little shaky video there. I was trying to emphasize and talk at the same time. Like I said, this is a remix, just a shortened version of the other 4 videos that I had it all. I have it all on 4 videos over a long period of time, but this is just a short and sweet. So here is the LED readout. It tells you whether your sensors on the left are sensing something, or your sensors on the right, and it tells you the distance. Now, these lights here are the LED lights in the corner of the A-pillars. There's enough wire that you could put them on the doors, but I don't see any need to take the door panels off just to put them in that quarter glass, or even run them out to the mirrors. Now what's nice is everything is really unobtrusive, and you can't really see this from anywhere but the driver's seat. Now there's a prove out. When you turn the key on, the sensors for the lane detection come on, and when you put it when you start it up and put it in reverse, which I'm going to do right here, you put it in reverse and the prove out for the backup sensor comes on. So that shows that that system is powered up. Now in just a moment I'm going to close the garage door, and as the door comes down and gets in the way of the sensors, it's going to show you that there was some activity at the back of the vehicle, and it'll start beeping. Like I said, this is there. It shows that the garage door is closed. Shows you have zero clearance to the garage door. Now this is my driving to work one day, and I'm trying to illustrate how the lane detection works. So my dash cam and my rear dash cam are showing this vehicle approaching on the right hand side, and as this vehicle comes into my blind spot, you'll see the light up right there on the A pillar. Now if I was planning on making a right hand turn and I turned on my turn signal, that light would flash 3 times, 3 bright flashes, and it would also beep the beeper. Now in my case the beeper quit working, and I'm okay with that. I did purchase another beeper, but I haven't replaced it because it could be kind of annoying. So here is another example. Another vehicle coming up on the right hand side. It will be approaching my blind spot in just a second here. So just about now you see that light came on. That vehicle is behind me, but it's right near my rear quarter panel. So that's it, guys. Please hit like and subscribe. Catch you guys in the next one.